Hi everybody, it's Christina from Pretty Distressed. In today's video, I am going to be bringing you another furniture makeover. I thrifted this piece for $25 and I'm gonna be trying out a new paint today. This is Melange. You may have seen it around the internet and Instagram. It's a small company out of Texas. This is gonna be my first time trying it. I'm gonna give you all my thoughts and we're gonna have a furniture makeover. So if you wanna see this makeover, just keep watching. I'm going to be tackling a small piece today. I like to work on small pieces when I'm trying out a new paint, and I got this piece from Goodwill for $25. You may recognize it from my little game that I played on Instagram. Should I buy this or not? And if you're not following me on Instagram, you should, because I play fun games like that all the time. Thank you to Melange for sending me this paint to try out today, and they are giving you a discount code as well. You can get 10% off your purchase using Pretty10 at checkout if you decide you want to try it after watching. On the back of this piece, it was called a Bachelor's Chest, which I think is really cute, and I've never heard of that before. I'm starting by removing the hardware and taking out all the drawers, and then I had a fun surprise. Oh, geez, what is that? That's very interesting. So all the drawers worked in the store, so I didn't examine this that closely, and when I went to take this out, someone had thought this would be a good solution to where this underboard was chipping, to put duct tape on there, but the duct tape is a sticky mess. So it probably was sticking more than if they would have just left it alone. So I'm chipping off all that wood that they were worried about that's in the way, and then I'm removing all this sticky stuff off of here so that the drawer will actually slide. I want to do new hardware on this piece, and luckily this was a 3-inch opening, so I have a couple of those in stock. If I go with these black ones, I'm definitely going to make them gold based on the color that I have selected that I'm going to use today. So just testing those out, I think I'm good to go. I don't need to fill holes. So I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning my piece with some Dawn dish soap. You can use any type of degreaser, TSP soap to clean and prep your piece before you paint, and then rinse it back with some water. Okay, I'm going to lay this bad boy on its back because I want to try to remove the skirting because it's missing like 3 of the covers anyways, and it's a little dated to me, so I'm going to remove this and see what it looks like underneath. Yes, I love these clean lines so much better, but now that trim that butts up to that is bothering me, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that too. And once I removed the trim, I noticed that the trim piece actually cracked the side of the base, so I'm just grabbing a blunt tip syringe, putting some wood glue in there, and then I'm going to clamp this. So I have never experienced a little trough like this when I've removed trim, so I'm gonna have to fill that. So I'm grabbing an all-purpose putty. This one is Bondo. It's a 2-part mixture that gets really, really hard, and it's sandable in 15 minutes. While that's drying, I'm going to jump to the top and strip this top off. The wood on here is really pretty, but the finish is failing, so I'm going to do a 2-tone finish today, and I think I'm going to be able to leave this wood completely natural. It's really, really pretty oak, and it's in good shape now that I have the failing stain off. Now that my Bondo's dry, I'm taking a 120 sandpaper and sanding this down smooth, and I had to go in with a second round of Bondo, which is pretty typical when you're refilling a big gouge like this. Once that dried, I'm sanding it again, and guess what? I had to do tiny, tiny touch-ups, like little holes like this, so I just fixed all those up, let that dry, and then again sanded it, and I was finally done. To finish with the top, I'm just going over with a 120 sandpaper and then finishing it off with a 220. I'm also going to go ahead and scuff sand the entire piece, and I'm going to prime it with shellac. It was bleeding a lot while I was cleaning it, and just because the shape this is in, I just have a feeling it's going to bleed, so we're going to do a little insurance and grab our bin. I'm going for a smooth look on this piece today, so I'm gonna sand in between all my coats of primer and all my coats of paint. And I'm also going to sand my final coat of paint as well. So there will be a lot of sanding and a lot of wiping back in this video. I did a second coat of bin, and then again, after that dried, I am coming back in and sanding and wiping that down. Oh my goodness, these little pieces get me sometimes. I think they're going to be so easy. That was a lot of prep for that one, but I'm finally ready to paint, and I am going to be trying out Melange paint today. I'm so excited about this. I'm sure you've heard of Melange, seen them on Instagram or YouTube. They are a small mom and pop paint making shop that is taking the furniture painting world by storm. This is a mineral-based acrylic paint, and everything is hand poured into these eco-friendly glass jars. I absolutely love the packaging, and it comes packed really well if you're scared of getting your paint in glass jars. Okay, you saw me just smelling the paint. I smell all paint. This has low VOCs, which is great. And it smells a lot like other mineral paints that I've worked with, and the consistency is the same. It's like that creamy, a little bit more runny formula than you're used to with a chalk paint. I'm using my zebra stubby to apply this paint. You could also use like an oval brush like the one from Country Chic, and they recommend zebra brushes as well to apply this. This paint is water-based. Like I said, it's low VOC. It's self-priming, so if I didn't have the issue of my bleed through with this piece, I don't have to prime. It would stick to already finished wood, just like a lot of other furniture paints on the market. Something that Melange really touts, and I've heard a lot about in the industry, is this has really, really great self-leveling properties. So I'm excited to see how this levels out as it dries. I have worked with a few other mineral-based, acrylic-based paints like this, and I find that this Melange is way more brushable than other brands that I've tried. You definitely don't want to overwork the paint, just as in any case with any furniture paint, but this one I think is a lot easier to get on, and I think it definitely would be a lot easier for a beginner. Most acrylic paints, they tell you not to use water and that they don't like water, but with Melange you can mist the paint, you can mist your brush. I found that I didn't have to do that, so I just used it straight out of the can, no water added, no misting. Dry time on this paint is about 2 hours, and I was really impressed how smooth it was when I came back after it dried. I did tell you I'm going for a smooth effect, so I am going to lightly sand in between all my coats. I totally forgot to mention the color I'm working with is Tally Green, and this color was curated by the one and only Jen Tally at Perfectly Imperfect Furnitures. If you guys are not following her, she is a must. She's so talented, and I'm happy to be trying out her color today. This is coat number 2 dry. Still really impressed with that self-leveling claim that Melange has. It's looking really good, really smooth. They do recommend about 3 coats for most of their color line, and I did see some of that primer poking through, so I went ahead, sanded, wiped back, and did a 3rd coat. Now that I'm done painting, I'm going to remove my protective tape off my top. One last step, I'm going to use a super fine sanding pad all over my painted portions before I come in and seal. This is just going to make it really, really super smooth. Okay, I don't have any of the top coats that Melange sells on their website, but I did have some of this Wise Owl salve that I have been wanting to try out forever, and I have their 2-inch palmed brush as well. They have lots of scents, but this one is a teakwood and amber. Oh my gosh, it smells so good, and I love using salve like this on bare wood. With this green color, I actually like orange tones coming out in oak. This is a red oak, and I think it just looks really beautiful with greens like this. And while I was going, I just decided to keep going because you can use this on top of paint, and it was going on really well and looking really beautiful. So I just used the brush to put this on the entire piece. So I'm sealing this way, but you could seal a number of ways. You could use a water-based poly, you could use hemp oil, you could use a furniture wax. Tons of options to seal, so I'm hoping that I can try some more in the future. Once I was done putting on the salve, I just let that set for 20 minutes, and then I came back in and wiped down the excess. I let that dry overnight, and now I'm ready to put my piece back together. And again, here's where I decide to make things complicated, because once I was done with this piece, I wasn't in love with the hardware that I had chosen for it, and I had these old pulls from my DIY wife base flip that I just think are perfect for it. Like, the orange wood matches the orange wood on my top, and the problem is that these are 4¼ inch holes, and my current hardware is 3. So I'm gonna drill new holes because this hardware is gonna cover up those other holes. I normally don't do stuff like this. I would normally fill these holes, especially if I'm gonna sell this, but I just have an idea. It's gonna be covered up anyways. Whoever buys this, I will let them know that there are extra holes in there. So if they don't like the hardware, that they shouldn't buy it, because they probably won't be able to switch it. But I just made a little template so I could drill my new holes. And then here's where I run into another problem, because red oak is a really hard wood to drill, and I just don't have big enough muscles to do it. So I enlisted my hubby to come out and do this so I didn't ruin my drawers that were already completely finished. This is why I usually like to drill holes and do all this before. I just had to go with this hardware, but normally I like to plan ahead, and it's a better idea to fill the holes and drill the holes before you refinish the piece. My final finishing touch, I'm just getting any dust out of these drawers, and I'm gonna hit them up with that salve as well, just to condition them and have them looking really good. I think that these look so good because they had contact paper on them, but that contact paper had to go because look how gorgeous this looks all shined up with that salve. This bottom drawer was the only one that needed a little bit of love, so I just grabbed my sander and sanded out all these little rough spots, and then added the furniture salve to this as well. Geez, okay, this little flip ended up taking a lot more effort than I thought it was going to take, but here is my first Melange makeover. I'm really loving this color. The tally green is really beautiful. I think it pairs perfectly with this natural red oak look with the salve. Loving all the colors. I think it turned out really beautiful. And I had a lot of fun trying out Melange for the first time. It was really easy to use. I'm definitely intrigued by it, so I think you'll be seeing it again in the future. I think next time, maybe spray, maybe a little poly, we'll see. Thanks for joining me for today's video. Check out some of my other videos before you leave. I will be back next week with another project. Thanks for being here, you guys, and I will see you next time.